I'm introducing the challenge today, the drawing challenge today, which is by the Alternative School of Economics, which is a collaboration between Ruth Beale and Amy Feneck. And the drawing challenge today is using collage and some aspects of drawing if you want to, and it's centred around thinking about care. So care is something that we hear a lot about at the moment in relation to the pandemic, and it's something that we've been thinking about in our practice in relation to unpaid care and feminist economics. I'd just like to read a very short section from the Care Manifesto, The Politics of Interdependence, which is a book by the Care Collective, which we've been reading as part of our feminist economics reading group. And I think the chapter called Caring Politics is available on the Hospital Field website. So this is what the Care Manifesto is about. It's in the wake of COVID-19, the need to acknowledge our mutual independence and vulnerabilities is more urgent than ever. Care must be valued and shared, no longer tolerated as an exploited form of labour, shouldered mainly by women and the poor. Rejecting the extensive carelessness so evident today, the authors of this book, their model of universal care, calls for inventive forms of collective care at every scale of life. To start off, you might want to brainstorm the question, what or who do you care for? So you could think about people in your domestic setting, but it could also be objects, maybe photographs of people or keepsakes. It could be other living things like plants or your garden. It could be abstract ideas, things bigger than your immediate surroundings. And you could think about how you care and how you care for something. So me and Ruth also had this idea of using the motif of a hand as a form to begin, as a way to begin building your image. You could draw your hand, or you could do an outline of your hand like this. You could maybe do two outlines of your hand as a way of kind of holding something on the page. And then gather loads of magazines and newspapers, and colour supplements are quite good for this. And have a look through thinking about what's on your brainstorm and this idea of care. And just kind of be slightly led by what jumps out at you in the magazines and newspapers. And you can obviously cut things out. But you can also rip things out, as this makes kind of quite a nice different kind of form to work with in the collage. This might be good if you're going to work on an image using different tones, so almost like a mosaic. So once you've got a few things gathered together, just start placing them on your image, and you can move things around, and kind of you'll soon start to kind of get ideas working with what you've got. You might want to go back to magazines. You start looking for specific words or images or forms that you want to make fit into your image. So it's kind of a process building on what you've got in front of you. So you could think about whether you want to add text or not. Obviously newspapers, there's a lot of text in them, whether you want to cut out specific words or whether you want to use newsprint as a form. You could think about whether you want to juxtapose some of your images together to create different meanings. And you could use the hand as a way to just collage within it or collage outside of it. So using that as a form to collage around. You also don't need to use a hand at all. You could just make an image, a collage image, without using a hand. And obviously once you've got what you want, you then go to the sticking part. And you could also think about if you want to add any drawing or other mark making to your image. So I'm looking at the lines on my palm here. So you read it more as the hand, palm upwards. And also if you were making a collage that didn't have a hand but was perhaps a collage of a photograph of a person's face, you could obviously use drawing in that as well. And then just as another option, I've tried to do something that's kind of working more tonally with ripped different pieces from the magazine, all working in the same tone to build an image. I found this harder to do in relation to thinking about the theme, but it's another kind of way of thinking about collage.
Hi, I'm Ruth, and this is the collage that I made. I didn't use a hand, I just sort of went through the newspapers, magazines, and found images that sort of resonated. And I found this background that I felt looked like the kitchen floor and an octopus, because I always feel like I have to have loads of hands. Down the bottom, there's sort of family and children, and then there's food and plates and cutlery and cleaning things, and there's a kind of house shape at the top and washing, and then some plants and thinking about my plants and my allotment, and it all surprisingly how it all felt very domestic to me. But I wanted to play around with these shapes and try and create a sort of flow of the images from top to bottom. So that's something you could try as well, really sort of using the images like drawing, seeing if you can draw with the cutouts.